Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend casual conversations with insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets. It seems like every time I blink, there's another groundbreaking announcement in the tech world.
Yeah.
This week is no exception. NVIDIA, Lenovo, Meta.
Oh, yeah.
They've all been making headlines.
It's definitely a whirlwind out there. Let's start with NVIDIA.
All right.
They've been making waves at CES and other industry events, and it's clear they're positioning themselves at the forefront of the AI revolution.
Right. I mean, we all know them for their graphics cards and gaming dominance, but they're branching out in some really interesting ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's fascinating is that they're not just focused on the technology itself, but on how AI can be applied to solve real-world problems. For example, they're talking about using AI and robotics to address labor shortages and potentially even combat inflation.
Hold on, combat inflation. How do graphics cards fight rising prices?
It's all about increasing efficiency and productivity. Think about it. A global labor shortage, declining birth rates, aging populations.
Right.
These are huge economic challenges.
Yeah.
NVIDIA believes that robots powered by their AI technology can step in to fill those gaps, particularly in manufacturing.
So robots on assembly lines instead of people, is that what they're envisioning?
That's one application.
Okay.
They're talking about a $50 trillion market for robotics, so the potential impact is massive.
Wow.
It's not just about replacing jobs, but also about creating new ones in fields like robot design programming and maintenance.
I guess I haven't really noticed a ton of robots out in the wild yet. Are we talking about a future where robots are commonplace, like in those sci-fi movies?
Oh, maybe not quite like the movies, but we're definitely seeing a shift.
Yeah.
Think about self-driving cars, automated warehouses, even those little robot vacuums cleaning our floors.
Right.
These are all early examples of how robotics is already starting to integrate into our lives.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it sounds like NVIDIA is betting big on a future where AI and robotics are deeply intertwined.
Definitely.
But let's talk about their new graphics card,
Yeah.
the Blackwell RTX 50 series.
Okay.
That's the one with the ultimate generative AI, right?
Yes.
I read about it, but honestly, it sounded like something out of a science fiction novel.
It's pretty mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah.
The idea is that the AI can actually generate a huge portion of the pixels needed for a 4K resolution image.
Wow.
Instead of the traditional computer rendering doing all the work, the AI steps in to fill in the gaps, creating incredibly realistic visuals.
Wait, so the AI is basically becoming the artist?
Uh-huh.
It's creating the image itself.
In a way, yes.
Wow.
It's using algorithms and data to generate realistic textures, lighting, and even character movements.
Okay.
It's going to have a huge impact on game development.
I bet.
We're talking about potentially reducing development costs, creating more immersive and realistic game worlds, and even developing intelligent characters that can react to players' actions in real time.
Wow. That's incredible. So it's not just about making games look prettier. It's about fundamentally changing how games are made and played.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And it's a great example of how NVIDIA is pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
Yeah.
But NVIDIA isn't the only one with exciting new technology.
Oh.
Let's shift gears and talk about Lenovo.
Okay.
Have you seen their new ThinkBook Plus Gen 6?
Uh-huh.
It features a rollable display that expands from 14 inches to almost 17 inches.
Oh, yeah. That thing is wild. I saw a video of it online, and it's like something straight out of a futuristic spy movie.
Oh, no, right?
Just imagine.
Yeah.
You're working on a spreadsheet, and then, boom, you expand your screen for a bigger view.
It's a great example of how quickly technology can evolve.
Yeah.
Remember when rollable displays were just a concept a few years ago?
Uh-huh.
Now they're becoming a reality.
And it's not just about the cool factor. I mean,
Right.
think about all the practical applications.
Yeah.
Designers, coders, anyone working with large amounts of data, that extra screen space could be a game changer.
Absolutely.
And did you see that the keyboard is self-charging?
Right. That's a fantastic feature, especially for professionals on the go.
Yeah.
It uses ambient and solar light to recharge, which is both practical and eco-friendly.
$69 for a keyboard that charges itself.
Wow.
Where do I sign up?
It's definitely a compelling package.
Yeah.
Lenovo seems to be hitting all the right notes with this one, combining innovation with practicality.
Uh-huh.
But speaking of shifts in the tech world, let's talk about what's happening over at Meta.
Yeah.
They've been making some interesting moves lately, especially with their content moderation teams.
Yeah, they're relocating those teams to Texas
Mm-hmm.
and talking about adopting a more user-driven approach to content moderation.
Right.
What exactly does that mean, And what are the implications?
It's a significant change, and it raises a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Are they doing this for efficiency, cost savings, or is there a deeper shift in their philosophy about how content should be managed?
It's definitely a move that has people talking, and when you consider their efforts to rebuild their relationship with President Trump after all the previous tension, it makes you wonder what direction they're heading in.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Meta has such a massive influence on social media and how we consume information.
it does.
Any changes they make to their content moderation policies could have ripple effects across the entire internet.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in a short amount of time.
We have.
We've got NVIDIA pushing the boundaries of AI and robotics, Lenovo wowing us with innovative hardware, and Meta shaking things up in the world of social media.
It's a lot to keep up with.
It's clear that the tech world is constantly evolving, and it's fascinating to watch it all unfold.
It certainly is. And with the pace of innovation accelerating, who knows what groundbreaking developments we'll be discussing next week. It really is remarkable how technology is reshaping so many aspects of our lives. And it's not just about the gadgets themselves, it's about the underlying trends and forces driving these innovations.
That's a great point. We've been talking about specific companies and products, but it's important to zoom out and look at the bigger picture.
Exactly. Take NVIDIA, for example. Their CEO, Jensen Huang, is incredibly bullish on the future of robotics. He's predicting that we'll see millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of robots in the coming decades, transforming everything from manufacturing and healthcare to transportation and even our homes.
That's a bold prediction. But I can see how robots could potentially solve a lot of problems. They could take on dangerous or repetitive tasks, freeing up humans to focus on more creative and fulfilling work.
Precisely. NVIDIA isn't just talking about it. They're actively developing the technology to make this vision a reality. They're creating the software, the hardware, the simulation environments, basically the entire ecosystem needed to train and deploy these robots.
It sounds like they're building the infrastructure for a whole new robotic workforce. But that raises some interesting questions. What happens to the job market when robots can perform many of the tasks that humans currently do?
That's a valid concern. And it's something we need to be thinking about seriously as we move towards a more automated future. It's not just about job displacement, but also about retraining and creating new opportunities for workers in this evolving landscape.
It's definitely a complex issue. But going back to NVIDIA, their recent Blackwell platform event was interesting. I read that analysts were expecting more concrete business plans, but instead they got a heavy dose of visionary aspirations.
It was a bit of a departure from their usual approach. There was a lot of talk about the transformative potential of AI, but not as much detail on the specifics.
Okay.
It sparked some controversy, with some seeing it as hype and others as a strategic move to solidify their position as an AI leader.
So they're playing the long game, building excitement and anticipation, even if it means keeping some cards close to their chest for now.
That's one way to interpret it, but they did announce some concrete partnerships, like the ones with Toyota and MediaTek for self-driving cars and robotics.
Okay, so they're not just all talk. They're actively working with other companies to turn these AI dreams into tangible products.
Exactly. They're also exploring futuristic areas like humanoid robotics and GPT-based applications, really pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
It sounds like they're miles ahead of the competition.
Yeah.
What are other companies like AMD doing in this space?
AMD is making progress, but their focus seems to be more on PC-centric business models.
Okay.
It's almost like they're acknowledging that catching up to NVIDIA in AI infrastructure is a massive uphill battle.
So for now, NVIDIA remains the king of the AI hill.
For now, yes. Their AI accelerators and data center technology give them a significant edge. And remember, data center infrastructure is crucial for AI development. That's where all the data crunching and model training happens.
Right, the data centers are like the brains behind the AI revolution. But isn't all that computing power incredibly energy intensive?
That's the elephant in the room and a growing concern.
Yeah.
The energy consumption of data centers is already significant, and as AI models become more complex and data sets grow larger, the demand for energy will only increase.
So it's a sustainability challenge that we need to address, alongside the excitement of AI innovation.
Absolutely. We can't ignore the environmental impact, but for now, the focus seems to be on scaling up to keep pace with AI's rapid growth.
So it's a we'll figure out the energy problem later kind of situation.
For now, perhaps. But it's a conversation that needs to happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
We need to find ways to develop AI sustainably, or its potential benefits could be overshadowed by its environmental costs.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've got NVIDIA leading the AI charge, but what about the bigger economic picture? How are things like inflation and global economic trends affecting all of this?
That's a great question. It's a complex interplay of factors, but NVIDIA seems to be weathering the storm fairly well. Their market dominance gives them some pricing power, which helps to offset inflationary pressures that are hitting smaller companies harder.
So they're in a relatively strong position to navigate the economic turbulence.
It seems that way. And investors are realizing that sectors like AI are more resilient to cyclical downturns. Technology in general tends to be less affected by those swings compared to other industries.
Interesting. So even with inflation higher than expected, NVIDIA and the AI sector as a whole are still looking like good bets for the future.
That's the current thinking, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, things can change quickly, but for now, NVIDIA is seen as a cornerstone of the tech industry's continued expansion.
Okay, so we've got a lot to think about here. NVIDIA is pushing the boundaries of AI, but it's not without its challenges and considerations, especially when it comes to the job market, ethics, and sustainability. And the economic landscape is always shifting, but tech seems to be holding strong.
It's true, and it makes you wonder
Yeah,
what's next.
exactly. What really stood out to me from everything we've talked about today is the blurring of lines between different fields. We've got AI influencing gaming, robotics, healthcare,
Oh, yeah?
even the fight against inflation.
That convergence of technologies is truly fascinating, and it's happening at an unprecedented speed. It's not just about individual gadgets or software programs anymore. It's about how these things work together to create entirely new possibilities.
It's like we're on the cusp of a technological revolution.
Right.
And it's still unfolding before our very eyes. It's exciting
Yeah,
and a little bit daunting at the same time.
I agree. And as we embrace these technological advancements, it's crucial to consider their impact on society as a whole.
Right.
We need to be mindful of potential job displacement, ethical implications, and even the environmental costs associated with things like data centers.
That's a great point. It's not just about celebrating the cool factor of new technology. It's about making sure we're using it responsibly and shaping a future that benefits everyone.
Absolutely. Technology has the power to solve some of the world's biggest challenges, but it also has the potential to create new ones if we're not careful. It's a balancing act, and it requires thoughtful consideration and ongoing dialogue.
Well said. Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.